Hello again everybody. I'm back to blogging about the big picture again. That's the one with all the architecture. The last time I showed you, it was at this stage. I'd only done 4 buildings partially and there was a lot of work yet to do.
It felt like a lot of work at the time, but it was only 3% complete. I've done a bit more since then, and here's where it is at the moment. Now, let's have a look at how I made progress. What keeps me going is knowing that the end result will be very similar to one I prepared earlier. It took a full year to finish while working on other artwork and a full-time job making documentaries. That averages out at 1.5 buildings per week, including photography. The idea is, when I get blocked or bored with other stuff, I have the big picture always ready to work on. And I have the original big picture to refer back to for techniques. My method again: golden mean geometry, rough sketches, detailed drawings, several hundred photographs of dozens of buildings and details. My next bit was part of a 1940s Art Deco building. The photos on location were the wrong perspective, so I drew a picture with Corel Draw and printed out a copy on a transparency so I could try different positions on the canvas and then use it as a reference for drawing outlines in pencil before painting it and referring to photographs and notes for details and colour. In general, I do freehand sketches, more precise drawings on paper, and I print out photographs for every building in the picture. It's a lot of work for an individual building and it may seem like I am overworking the whole thing. However, I do leave out a lot of detail and I don't go to the same amount of trouble for every building. I work up the detail a bit at a time and I stop when I think I have enough to do the job. I checked the picture so far against my original golden mean geometry and saw I could bring it into line by adjusting the height of spires, finials, flagpoles, etc. It also told me where I needed to put in focal points and my next set of buildings. At about this point I discovered my newest toy, the Pitt Artist's Pen. I tried a couple of them and they worked perfectly on the acrylic, provided I gave them enough time to dry thoroughly before trying to rework the surface. I will seal them all later on with a fixative. I love Pitt pens. They are archival, colour-fast and compatible with other water-based media like my acrylics. So I went out and spent over $100 on new pens. A fabulous Valentine's Day present from the child bride. She was so happy after I informed her she had given me such a wonderful gift. In my defence, I did surprise her with a beautiful solid gold official pendant from a sculptor artist by the name of Foot Young in Whitsunday Islands. I used the Pitt pens to sharpen up outlines, work on details like brickwork, wrought iron, and other fine complex shapes in the next few buildings and the ones I've already finished. On the downside, you have to be careful about smudging them before they're dry, but that live nature of the ink also lets you blend the ink with paint right there on the canvas. I also have to be careful not to overdo the pen work so it remains as a painting more than a drawing. The next building, a church, needed a full-size drawing compiled from a number of poor photographs to give me one accurate reference. At this point, there are other buildings partly finished. They have to wait until I've blocked in new shapes or finished details behind them. It gets a bit complicated structurally. The church didn't look right, so I went back into history. I found historic photos of the church before they painted the masonry, and I redid the colour. Then it looked like Dracula's castle, so I had to make a few more changes. At this point, I sat back and had a good look and decided the first building I did, the Russian church domes, needed work. So I used an impressionistic style because it's too hard to make those precise curves with the drawing and paint method. It's just a little bit grungy and I am very pleased with the way that worked out. It adds another dimension of richness and I'll do more of that as I continue. So that's it for the big picture now, probably around 8% done. I have an idea of where it's going next, and I'll see you next time when I've made some more progress.